There. There it is. That's a little bit better.
Yeah.
Where's the other light? Where's the other light? It's over there. Hi, Lunatickles. He says I'm in a mood. Don't you bother me.
She's so cute.
Don't you bother me. You're the best dog in the whole wide world to me. Okay. Hey, you clean your house. Leave me alone. You shut up. There. How's that?
That's nice.
Anybody out there? Me and Mom are just floating through space. We thought we'd touch in and from our spaceship.
Oh, that's cute.
I've been watching a lot of old movies that I watched when I was a kid, like Star Wars. Oh, you alright? Let me get this off you. Mom's like a little Yoda. She used to be a lot more. I'm not agile enough to be a Jedi. Last night we watched It's a Wonderful World. How many times have I imagined what it would be like if I was never born? I'm glad I was. It's been a hard life. It's been very difficult. We're still here. We're still smiling. How you doing today, Mom?
I'm doing well.
You doing good? We got snow last night in Northern California.
Oh, Northern California.
No, I said Northern California. We're not in Northern California. We're in Northern New Mexico. I found my old driver's license.
Oh, that's cool.
I don't even feel like I'm that same person anymore.
Oh,
That was... This was 22 years ago.
22 years ago.
It was issued January 13th, 2013.
Wow, 13.
And it expires my birthday, 2018. God, how many lives have we lived since then, Ma? Frickin' 4 or 5?
4 or 5.
Ma, look at that.
Nice.
Remember when I looked like that?
Oh, yeah.
My hair's way long now. Not on, just on the top, not on the back.
It's very pretty.
Found this little nugget. Wonder how many people on the planet have one of these. Has its own little fancy seal.
Good.
I like receipts as receipts. As souvenirs. This came from the Marines Memorial Club and Hotel.
What was that?
It's a hospitality pass.
Yeah.
Room 605.
605.
I was there 8/28/2012 until noon. Boy, there's a lot of history in there. Just ask them, they'll tell you how it went. Then I found these. This was kind of a weird story. I found these.
Oh, you found them.
They were prescribed to me years ago, 2019, when I didn't know what was going on, so I reached out for help. See, I've had to learn the hard way a lot. They gave me this trazodone, and it started changing my mind, the way I was thinking, and I couldn't understand why. And I started doing research, because I know how to look stuff up. And what I found was it had a suicide rate of 31%.
Wow.
People they gave it to in the UK. And then I was just looking it up a little while ago,
Uh-huh.
and it says that it carries a box warning from the FDA about an increased risk of woohoo thoughts and behaviors,
Wow. Behavior.
especially in children, adolescents, and young adults. It says especially, but then the next sentence it says studies have also indicated a potentially higher risk attempts in adults taking it compared to other medications.
Oh.
One study of veterans found the incidence of attempts within 12 months was about 76 per 100,000 person years in those taking trazodone compared to about 51 per 100,000 person
Wow.
in the years those taking Zoplodim or whatever. See, that's why I just don't take pills. I had to taper that stuff off by cutting them in cutting them in half and stuff. And then yeah. And then this. I found this.
You found it. What is that?
This is with a phone that was in my pocket
Oh.
when it's in good shape still.
That's good.
When I worked on the flight line, this was my phone. How many fights did I get on with the girl on this phone? A lot. I should just go back to this one. Yeah. So, the full moon is in Gemini today, and I wanted to talk about how D.C., Washington, D.C., and Hollywood, they're the same. They are an extension of each other. Now, I don't look at the world like most people do, where it's a globe that spins around with the planets in the sky. I look at it more as a radio.
A radio. That's like what I heard. This song.
And we are our own instrument. And we tune in to the frequencies on the planet based on our free will and what we use, how we use our free will. So if we live in 3D earthly ways of like tangibles is what I call them, and living for external stimulation without any kind of discipline, just self-will run riot, if people do that more than not, then this is the earth that we get.
Yeah.
Now, and I look at latitude and longitude as the earth grid in which they invoke storylines.
Storyline.
They put the storylines out there, and then people draw themselves with their free will to actuate these storylines. That's how we create reality, as I understand it. And so I'm tuned out. Whatever happens on planet Earth, poles flip, whatever, Carrington invent, whatever. You know, our world has ended several times over in the last 4 years, and it didn't impact out there too much, you know. And what I found is to keep my peace in here is I can't let anything that happens out there impact me here. And I look at latitudes and longitudes as like radio stations, okay? And like you have the main parallels, like the fives, you know, 0, 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30, 35, 40, 45, 50. And you have major cities at major points in latitude and longitude where people gather. And they create reality based on the sum of all parts of their collective consciousness. And if you look at DC geographically, it's on the 38th parallel. And I have a plus and minus 2 idea that it's like astrologers, when they read the Siberian symbols, they'll round up to the next energy. Well, I have a plus or minus 2 that you will be in congruence with people on certain latitudes if you're within plus or minus 2. Now, Hollywood is on the 34th parallel. So if you go up 2, it brings it to the 36. DC is on the 38th parallel. So if you come down 2, that brings them down to the 36. So their energies, their potentials meet on the 36th parallel. That frequency, both of those exist, Hollywood and DC, to impose a reality, plant seeds in the perceptors' minds. I think something that hangs people up is when people, the word human. If we just omitted the word human, that might open up ideologies and potentials that could move us forward where more people can advance. More people can prosper. See, because not everybody wants to do the silly reindeer games. I did because I was told you have to do this in order to be a good person, a productive member of society. And what I found out was they said I had to do this, all this stuff, but they weren't doing these things themselves. I was just getting duped all the time. And how many times did I get picked on, kicked in the face, freaking beat up, freaking, because somebody was bigger than me. And they were jealous because I was living my truth. And they weren't. So I had to learn how to defend myself. And now we're in the age where more people are just tuning into frequencies and, beings of earth are impressionable and they're easily influenced and swayed, and that's why marketing exists, just to manipulate people into spending money on things that they don't need. On my social media feed, I'm seeing a lot of people that are struggling. I'll be glad one day when this time of year the cozy comes, but the freaking stupid Christmas holiday doesn't. Because it's a fake. And it's a fraud. And baby Jesus was born on 9/11. Not December 25th. And there's more people that are starting to see this because they are lining up to the frequency of truth, and the truth will find you. People that keep perpetuating the lie are just going to keep going to Disney World and doing all the touristy stuff like NPCs do, and they're not going to be adding to their communities. And you know what happens when people start getting so much while people have so little around them? The people around them start getting resentful. It's true. It's not me. It's true. And then they'll start going after you just because you have stuff. I'm adamantly against it. I don't think anybody should break anybody's stuff, cause harm to another person, anything like that. I just, people should just be able to go doop-de-doop-a-doo, travel wherever they want, Beings of this earth are migrational beings. We're animals with opposable thumbs. There's a lot. We've been migrating for centuries. Think about how long the people of the earth have been going from South America to Central America all the way up to Canada and down. And then all of a sudden, these pasty, soulless, lizard suckers come in and say, we're going to put in boundaries. We're going to put in borders. We're going to establish where you can go and what you can do. And they've been doing that ever since. But then they don't have to lock you in a cage. They just tell you what you can do and where you can go. And then they can even make it up. The other night, one of the holiday movies that I woke up I'm done. I'm done.
Wow.
I'm done. I'm done. I'm done. When I think of all of the times that I just wanted to sit around and do nothing, right? And then my brain said, one day you're gonna wish you hadn't. Get up and do that. Like how I had to motivate myself to be comfortable, right? And then sometimes you help people. Right? You help them, and then they're just like, oh, right on. I don't have to do much because this person will help me. And then they rest on their laurels. Then they don't want to participate in their own life to advance their life and make their life better. And that's when I check out. Like, I'm not going to do more for nobody else than they're willing to do for themselves. Anyway, Mom and I watched a movie the other night called Trading Places.
Trading Places.
Came out in 1983, I think.
Wow.
What's going on? Yeah, technology is so what if? What if? What if it works when you need it? What if it doesn't? Trading Places.
Trading Places.
There's Godsmack. Trading Places. And then there was a show called Trading Spaces later.
Oh, really?
It was made in 1983.
Oh, that's really wild.
Directed by John Landis. Written by Timothy Harris, Herschel Weingrod, and Dan Aykroyd, Eddie Murphy. Starring Dan Aykroyd, Eddie Murphy, Ralph Belmini, Don Amici, Jamie Lee Curtis. And basically, it's they swap identities with Dan Aykroyd, who's a rich white dude, and Eddie Murphy, who's a streetwise not. And then I forgot how racist they were. Like I was watching it and I was like, holy cow, they say that. Wow, that's not cool. You don't talk like that. John Landis. He's a Leo, born August 3rd, 1950.
1950.
He also did the Kentucky Fried Movie, National Lampoon's Animal House, Blues Brothers, Three Amigos, Coming to America, Beverly Hills Cop 3, An American Werewolf in London. And he also directed music videos for Michael Jackson's Thriller and Black or White. Oh, shocker! He was born on the 40th parallel nearabouts in Chicago, Illinois. Max is his son. What does Max do? See, if only my parents would have, like, done what other famous people do to get what they want. 30 under 30. I didn't even know that he existed, but because who he's born to, he gets, oh, this family's Jewish. Okay, say no more. The deck is stacked. Why bother? You don't even have to bother. Don't bother going to college because the positions are already filled. Because the cast, the cast of characters have already been cast. They already been decided who's going to go along with the narrative, so that you keep believing that planet Earth is on a big ball and it spins around, and as long as you pay your taxes, and mow your lawn, that everything's going to be okay. And people are figuring out that that's a lie. So, I'm here for spiritual triage. My name's Marge. I'm a Heyoka empath. I just like having these little talks on how I feel about things, because I ain't never lived on the same planet as everybody else. Everybody else lives on this weird planet where they like to go football games and do the same. They literally like live the same year over and over and over again. It is so bizarre. You're barking at the snakes on the TV, ma'am? They giving you the heebie-jeebies? Little Missy? She says yes, and I'm not in the mood. When I was young, I did everything I could to fit in and be what everybody told. I was a good little puppet. I did everything. You want me to stand here? I'll stand here. You want me to do this? I'll do this. You want me to, be serious? I'll hold still. Like I could be whatever the role requester would request of me. And then what I found out by learning about like Carl Jung and all kinds of like philosophers and psychologists and studying human nature my whole life is I found the me inside. And other people that don't know who they are, I'm not going to make any sense to you. Only people that know who they are, I make sense to. Only people that have lived remarkable lives, I'm going to resonate with. Like, even the spirit, like, you go to Sedona, I'm not going to make sense to you. You live and hang out in Sedona, I'm not going to make sense to you. It's like, people are waking up to they're tuning into their frequency, and they're finding out within themselves what they have always known to be bullshit. And you can't bullshit people anymore, because everybody's turning into a freaking human truth detector. And you could just like play it off before, but people aren't even playing it off anymore. They're just like, nah, they're calling it out. Nah, I call bullshit. No. To the point where they're getting violent, and they're, they need to dial it back. And thank goodness, Ma, you taught me about emotional control all those years. I don't know what I would have done. I might have ended up in some sort of institution, Yeah. Like anybody that just couldn't resist themselves in that moment where they were called to. Where they heard two voices, one that said, don't do that thing, and the other one that says cause harm, and they didn't listen to the don't do that harmful thing. Too many people are doing harmful things, and it's catching up to them. You can't live a life of deceit and pretend like you're a really great person. You can't. It's just the truth always comes out, because it's a frequency. It's a vibration. It's like a sliver. You can't keep it under wraps. You want to come by, Luna? Come on, honey bear.
Yeah.
She did drink? No? Okay. Are you getting hungry, Mom?
Yeah, a little bit. Yeah.
And if you notice, if you go in and look at like the people, like my brother, he works for the state of California, and he gets paid as much as freaking actors in Hollywood. And he wanted to, he tried to go that way, but he got too much self-centered fear. So he went the legal route, because that's all it is. Law is just, it's just lines on a page. And what you try to do is convince the people that you're standing in front of that your lines are what was real. That's all it is. That's all. The whole legal system is proving somebody's innocent, even if they're not. It's just a numbers game. It's nothing personal. You know who says that? People without souls. Souls. Like narcissists. They say it's nothing personal, because if it was personal, and if I thought of you as a person, I wouldn't be doing this. But I don't think of you as a person. And they like to play with people. All that stuff comes back, man. Karmic retribution is coming around, and I'm pretty sure that like this Gemini full moon is impacting that in a big way. When you look at my birth chart in Vedic, my rising's in Gemini, and I got in West. Oh my God, my chart is so activated. My goodness. So me and Mom have just been hanging out watching like old movies, because we never did holidays like everybody else, and all these other people are finally, I can't afford Christmas, can't afford things. It's just like, that's cool, people could live off, the calories of themselves for quite some time in America. It would do a lot of people a lot of good to fast, to skip some meals, quite frankly, huh, Ma? Yeah. Get you connected to source. You start tuning into those frequencies that tell you to do good. Take care of yourself more, because it's like feeling good legitimately when you connect to source and you start acting right, not cussing so much, and eating all that nasty food, and watching all those dirty movies and all that stuff. You start getting enough energy that you get stuff done. Unfortunately, I'm in winter mode, and I've been like, I got no juice. I did manage to do 2 sets today still.
That's good.
Yep. So I did 600 with my little dumbbell, because I gotta stay, because my body, see, people, they get it wrong. If you got aches and pains and stuff, well, for me, what I found is, when I get aches and pains, I can't sit there and lay there until the aches and pains pass, because I have a lot of inflammation in me. So I have to work that out and move it. So I got to get up and I got to stretch and I got to move around. This morning I got in my feels because we got about 4 inches of snow overnight.
Wow.
And this is the first winter that I didn't get up and like go shovel out the path for all the dogs, because we just have the one left. And then I'm reminded that grief is it's so heavy. Grief is like a big blanket. And I miss my dogs. And I know one day, when I take my last breath, I'll see them again. I get that. I believe that. I know that to be true. They help me get through so many days. And now I don't have as much to do, so now I have to motivate myself. Like, get up, lazy bones, get up, go move around. So I'll get up and I'll put music on and I'll put my headphones on and I'll dance around and stuff like that. And, it's just life is shifting, and there's so much loss right now. There's a lot of transitioning, and my brain is like, there's all these different versions of the world, right? There's like the version of the world when I lived here, when I lived on 2331 North 63rd, and I lived in that big beautiful house, and I tried to create a family, and I just couldn't. I couldn't be whatever it was that anybody else you know? And that's when I started shedding all the other things that people wanted me to be. And I'm like, well, if they're gonna not like me, I'm just anyway, because they don't know me. I'm just gonna, I'll just all the way be myself. Is what I'll do. And I started shedding the layers of people. Please, this was like 2016. That was the last W-2 I got. I guess it was 2020, but it was for being mom's caregiver. But my last W-2 corporate America was 2016, 9 years ago. And that's when I was figured out, or in 2017, I figured out I couldn't leave mom no more. And I started seeing, like I saw my future from when I was a 15-year-old girl. Like, I can go do what I want, but I'm going to have to come home and take care of mom at some day. And I did that, and she took real good care of her for a real long time. I mean, it's a miracle that she's still alive. And now we're passing the, but it's hard too, because, I mean, she didn't know how to take care of, she never grew up around babies and kids and stuff, and she was, except for the other ones in an orphanage that she was around. And then so she saw what people are supposed to do, get married and have kids, and then she turned 18, her parents turned her out. She found a man, got married, got found, found my dad. Because he looked like, I don't know, Elvis and like, who else did he look like? He was a biker, like, he's a machismo, truck driver, like, self-will run riot. He was not a family man. But his parents wanted him to be, so sometimes he would play that role. He would pretend. Most of the time, he was I'm going to do what I want. And he never got in trouble because his parents always bailed him out of everything. And I look around society and I just see it's just run by dudes like my dad. That always got there's only so many positions at the state hospital for psych work. They all go to somebody's relative, and HR knows somebody, referral, A big old storms passing through last night.
Wow.
Let's see what the weather. That's another thing that they make stuff up, because I'm always looking at the weather. I've been watching the weather since. This is the storm that passed last night. See? That's interesting. There's a lot of. I got ideas on how to make places for people to be and learn how to freaking take care of themselves. Because that's the trouble I ran into. Is that because mom didn't know how to take care of kids, I didn't get the best care. She did the best she could. She never thought the TV show said that the husband wasn't ever going to leave her, And the TV show didn't plan out, and she ended up 25, single mom in the 70s. And she had to do all those things that women have to do to take care of their kids, and they still have to do it. And we still haven't made an environment that supports the single mother. But we still have the product of like these inferior assholes that fucking are mad at their mommies because their mommies worked and didn't go to their school play. And it's like, or maybe, like my brother's mad at my mom because she didn't work. And what he does isn't work. Like raising kids is work. What he does is, he's a lawyer. Lawyers do not work. Actors, it's not working, Like, service industry, it's not work. You're playing. It's all, and I worked in the restaurant. You play hard sometimes, you sweat, but still, you're putting on a performance.